Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the old world. I hope you're all doing well, and today, my friends, we're back with the Sons of Sigmar versus the Vampire Counts here on the Black Ark. And again, my apologies for using this map so much. In the current build that we have right now, many of the domination maps are actually bugged and just don't work. Battle for Itza is bugged currently, so it doesn't even start capturing points. And the and Arnheim has a crash error where essentially when you get a minute into the game, it just crashes over and over. So that is the reason why you guys are only seeing a couple maps. We have Death's Pass, Broken Lake Gully, and Black Ark, which in my opinion are the only good domination maps. Silver Spire, Eye in the North, they're okay, but really this map just gives you such a superior battle experience as one of the reasons why we play it so much. Now, we're here with the Vampire Counts. This is shortly after we did that tier list video, and Vampire Counts, of course, I had them at an S+. I think Anticity had them at an A+ or an S- or something, I can't quite recall, but Vampire Counts, in my experience, anecdotally, have been very, very good. Now, there's a couple matchups that in the testing, this is a game with Anticity here, we found were pretty good against Vampire Counts. He showed me a really cool Slaanesh build that was incredibly effective, but really, most of the builds that are able to beat the Vampire Counts heavily rely on how overpowered Pit of Shades is, because it clears out their Graveguard and their Blood Knights and things like that. So, but even still, I feel like the Empire... In Warhammer 2, Empire got karate chopped by Vampire Counts. In a high-level tournament setting, if you're not playing somebody who's less experienced than you, if you're playing an equally skilled tournament player, I found that Vampire Counts probably won that matchup 75% of the time against the Empire. In this, though, I actually feel like it's a little bit better for the Empire. I played this matchup a couple times. We'll talk about it afterwards, and we'll give you guys a breakdown. Now, as far as the build goes, Triple Pistolier, as well as some War Wagons. War Wagons are pretty good against Vampire Cav, and then, of course, the Pistoliers are good against Felbats and Harass, but I was expecting him to have Crypt Horrors and big monsters for me to shoot, but even still, Pistoliers do have decent capture weight, being Cav units, and can poke and be a little bit obnoxious. We have a Grey Wizard for Pit of Shades. We do also have Volkmar the Grim in the back, because you just need him to clear out the mass amounts of infantry, and that appears to be it, in conjunction with Sigmar Sons and Spears. We're going to go hold the low ground. Now, for the Vampire Counts, this is a very meta style of play. In my experience, if you guys are looking for the filthiest Vampire Count builds, it's kind of just Graveguard spam with tons of support and either Blood Knights or some sort of a Cav support piece. And yeah, you see not too many good targets. I was like, screw it, man. Let's just get going and just harass these guys. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, why are we not using grenade launchers right now? I do have some in reserve, but the thing about grenade launchers is what's going to happen is he would summon in a Felbat here, and he would just dive them and then not commit and force me back. So then he would just be screening me. I figure at least the Pistoliers are able to shoot. The War Wagons, putting a little bit of pain on the army, something. At least we got the Skeleton Spears down a little bit. Trying to snipe Heinrich here, and we do get a couple shots on the old Haggard Necromancer as he's cackling here, waiting to summon Krell, and, we'll take the freebies there. Tried to get in, get a little bit of cheese going, but, didn't work out too well. Now in the back, we summoned in Free Company, just looking for bodies, and the Wagons of Doom are going to be getting into the Graveguard, and you know what? I'm not upset about this. We actually got some good HP damage on them. Now we're going to be going back into the Skeleton Spearmen, and those Wagons are putting it work. Volkmar the Grim also going to be moving in here, and if you guys are wondering how to deal with Mass Graveguard, I'm about to show you. This is one of the best ways to do it. So you move in Volkmar, and then that is going to force the AI of the Graveguard to pile in. You use a Soulfire Bombardment, and then an Overcasted Pit of Shades, which is going to go down here, and boom. That's how you kill a Graveguard unit. It's dead. It's not going to heal. And that was overcasted, though, to be fair. So that was something like 18 Winds of Magic. And Volkmar also had the Soulfire, and he's hitting it. So a very, very good start for us. We have this objective. We have the side objective. Vampire Counts don't want to test us here because we have Spears and Sigmar Sons. So really, we're actually in very good shape. If we just hold on to this objective and just kind of manage to keep them from swarming too, which is much easier said than done, we'll hopefully be okay. Now, I didn't notice his Blood Knights. So the Blood Knights got in there. They crumped one of my wagons. And so they're killing the thing that is actually able to stop them. And here we're going to be dropping a Banishment from Volkmar, so Banishment coming down, and that felt like a pretty good cast, going to be hitting them. And we also get a unit which I think is pretty good here, Hellstorm Rocket Battery. So this is what's really neat about Domination. Many of these units, which are pretty terrible, like memes, in Warhammer 2, can actually be made to work. So now the Hellstorm Rocket Battery is going to start going after infantry. And in terms of value trading, I was up by about 1,000 right now. We had killed a Graveguard unit outright, and we did a little bit of damage against the other infantry here, so I was quite happy, but he did get the War Wagon, so he was able to get a little bit of value back. Blood Knight surging in here, kiting them with Pistoliers using Melkoths. And yeah, just trying to survive. And I don't mind Free Company Militia getting charged. They have okay combat stats, 25 melee defense, they'll hold. Melkoth's getting a little bit of damage in. Volkmar the Grim is going to be rolling back there, trying to disrupt them. We do have the Spearmen and State Troopers fighting. One wagon paying the Troll Toll, and the other wagon actually came back, which was kind of cool, but unfortunately just routes off almost instantly. And now, this is where it gets a little bit precarious. Vampire Counts are on the objective. Blood Knight's getting a huge screaming charge into my Free Company Militia, and at the end of the day, they're still lightly armored units. Not super tanky, certainly more resilient than some other options you might have in the infantry, or I should say ranged infantry department, but they are going to be taking some hurt. So the Shield of Faith going down, giving a little bit of ward save. We still have some Spearmen fighting here, so they give me some anti-large against the Blood Knights. And the Hellstorm, how's it doing back here? We were shooting, I believe, at the Graveguard here, so we got them kind of lowish. And the Silver Bullets have now emerged. The Silver Bullets have got their Steel Faith and Gunpowder out for Sigmar. We're going to be shooting into the Blood Knights here. Undeath Resurgent is active. But I was starting to think, I was like, man, oh man, I think like a Handgunner spam build might be really, really good. Like if you go Handgunner spam with a flying Light Wizard, but the Pit of Shades is just so cost effective. So here we see a Soulfire Bombardment going down. State Trooper still holding. We still have the objective, and we were up in value at this point. The Blood Knights are kind of getting karate chopped a little bit. Pistoliers are dragging these guys around, and the Grey Wizard is running about. But Vampire Counts do have better positional play. They've gotten like bodies upon bodies on the objectives. And that really is a big issue with Vampire Counts is, like, in land battles, you can eventually grind them down, even though it is favored for counts. But here, there was a pretty stark timer. Now, we are up on points. We had the 2-cap. A back cap thing is an option, but he's got Hex Race. So he summoned in Hex Race back here, which were able to kill my wagons that rallied. And Hex Race, well, look at them. There's, like, a little bit of a visual bug on them. They've always been a big issue for the Empire to deal with, especially since I don't have, like, any traditional goodies. Now, this was the biggest own of the game. We had the double Blood Knights charge into the back of some of my State Troopers, and I timed it properly where they got hit with a Pit of Shades. Now, this was big, and both Anticity and I talked about this, and we were like, well, we'll touch upon it a little bit later, but that was like the big decisive factor right there for sure, in terms of me being able to keep scrapping here, essentially. Now, Hellstorm Rocket Battery going in, getting work in. I mean, those Graveguard are getting worn down, and they are the things I need to get rid of. Like, Flagellant State Troopers, Cav can deal with other threats, but the armor on the Graveguard is the big issue in the Silver Shields, right? In the back, the double Necromancers have moved in on horseback, and they have gotten on my Silver Bullets, which is very unfortunate. And now they're just going to Tarp hit me in zombies, which feels pretty bad. We see the Vampire Counts Resurgent going for a side flank. So they got Crypt Ghouls and zombies, and Sigmar Suns certainly have their work cut out for them. They're going to have to hold pretty damn hard. Also, the spooky Hex Racer here, so a little bit nervous about that. Melkoth's going to be going down. Magic damage, of course, surpasses some of their ethereal stats. They do, of course, have 55 physical resist, but ethereal units kind of got reworked a little bit in that they're not as dependent on the physical resist. They still have it, but it's not like quite as stark as it was before, in that like they were really squishy without it. So they're not going to be like punished as badly by magic. Volkmar's still doing work, man. I mean, he cleaned out some skeletons, and looking at what the Vampire Counts have here on the objective, we got zombies. Unfortunately, a full health unit of Sternsman is very stressful. And some of our units have come back. So we got Spearmen, we got Free Company Militia moving up in the back. Silver Bullets just got trapped by zombie summons, and of course he does have the triple zombie summon. So Necromancer, double Forbidden Rod, and Heinrich is the really like scary Vampire Count build. It's basically just zombie summons all day, so he's able to kind of blockade you right here. So you can see the Spearmen do get held up, but even still, we have a little bit of flank pressure. Summoning in Free Company from the Vanguard point allows us to circumvent that. And just trying to shoot these zombies off the point. A little bit of a haggard stagger here, slight obstruction, but for the most part, they're doing okay. Volkmar, though, got hunted by Krell, so he was getting beaten down by Krell, and now the angry Necromancer himself is going to be chasing, and we're saving up for another Pit of Shades. Pistoliers, this is like throwback to Warhammer 2 land battles, just being chased off by Hex Raids, like you just can't kill with Pistoliers. But Sigmar Suns, valiant effort here, holding, karate chopping many of these haggard ghouls and sending them back to the Shadow Realm, but even still being slowly worn down, and eventually I will be losing the capture weight here. Zombies trying to flank around, it's pretty hilarious, but we'll see if we can get some cav down there, get some support. Really, the big thing is going to be reclaiming this. He just passed me in points. The Hellstorm Rocket Battery has been slowly cleaning out these units, but I'm starting to think maybe a Hellblaster would have been a little bit better, but the range on this is quite good. And it is up to 1,500 value, so maybe it's making me eat my words. Maybe that is going to be my MVP here. We'll have to see. Free Company shooting into zombies and skeletons and crypt ghouls, things which they are good against. But the one Sternsman is a bit of a problem, waiting on that Pit of Shades. How much damage are we really doing? Let's see. So we got direct contact there, and now there's going to be, I believe that's a Banishment, or is that a Pit of Shades? I think it's a Pit of Shades. So here it comes, tearing through the Sternsman there. This is really your only option as Empire, like these type of spells. It kind of like, I'm like, how do you effectively deal? Graveguard do not work. Greatswords tend to lose those trades because they summon zombies behind the Greatswords and they just get like routed off due to leadership. That's been my biggest problem. Like zombie summons on top of them, just like swarming and really causing problems. So now it's time to bring out some of the big guns. I got to get an objective back. You know, I'm starting to be in a bit of a panic state here as the low ground is being contested, although Sigmar Sun's fighting very well. State Troopers are going to be moving in. And I couldn't summon anything back here because the Hex Race were lurking. I had Free Company, but they were really able to respond to any threats I had. And right now, the Knights of the Blazing Sun trying to squeak through and help finish off these Sternsmen here. Volkmar getting beat up, but has some room before his healing cap. We do send in the Grey Wizard to try and stop him, and they are crumbling. Melee defense being buffed by the Undeath Resurgent. And the Knights of the Blazing Sun really need to get in there and finish those guys off the objectives. Here they come under the hail of the the Sunmaker. Not Sunmaker, but just, you know, the rocket battery in the back certainly doing okay. Very happy with it. And the Sternsman should be broken. Negative 14, their leadership's tanking, but again, zombie summons are so good against Empire Heavy Cav. I do try and escape, but you don't have any time to react. The zombie summons is on top, and many of my Knights of the Blazing Sun are trapped. In retrospect, should have just stayed and fought. Now, on the side, we got grenade launchers and pistoliers coming in. This was a little bit of a desperate play. I am triple capped here, so I summon in the pistoliers to go try and back cap him, but I do see that he's got zombies and Graveguard coming in, so I was like, oh man. Like, I saw that, like, after I summoned them. Also, a Fellbat response, so Fellbats should be able to hunt down my pistoliers. I was like, damn, I should have just kept reinforcing this position. But nonetheless, we do get the Knights of the Blazing Sun. They're fighting, and the triple cap is upon us. Low ground, looking scary. I did get grenade launchers in there, and they actually did a really good job clearing out many of these crypt ghouls, right? So you can see they're using their grenade launchers. They're blasting into the crypt ghouls here, but those damn hex rays, such a menace, man, such a menace. Crypt ghouls going down, objective controlled by the vampire counts. We have a little bit of pressure here as I try to get Volkmar the Grim over to the side point to go for that, but not working out too well. And despite the value during this game, the value was kind of dead even. I think it was like 12,000 to 12,000 right now, but considering vampire counts have access to a lot of healing, like invocations and summons, a lot of the value is a little bit false. So if you're in a vampire count game, you typically need to be like 1,000 to 1,500 value ahead of them to actually truly be ahead in terms of the state of the battle. So overall, I was probably down by about 1,000 value right now. But the trading has been okay. We held on to the 2 points, but really this has been my experience in many vampire count games. You can design builds to really outvalue trade them, but they're just so good at swamping the objectives. It's very, very tough to clear. So another Pit of Shade's going down. Gonna hit the Sternsman. They weren't quite as bunched up, so it wasn't quite as juicy of one here. Silver Bullets finally returned, and the Blood Knights are hopefully gonna get cleaned off, but man, they wrecked my Spearmen. But that's pretty much GG well played. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Kind of give you a taste of what the vampire counts can do. I was actually pretty happy with how the Empire played there. Like, I felt like there was a chance if my build was more finely tuned. So after the game, Anticity and I sat there for a good like 15 minutes talking about how the Empire could do it. We both agree that it's a massively favored, well, I can't quite remember his opinion. I think he agreed for the most part that it's very count favored. It's not something you would ever want to pick in like a tournament setting. I think you're just always kind of on the back foot against them, just like you were in Warhammer 2 land battles. But I think there's a way to do it. Like, he's obviously one of the top 3 players in the entire community, right? I think against like players who were a little bit less experienced and or skilled, like it could have worked. I think the wagons were okay against the Blood Knights. Probably would cut the Pistoliers in retrospect, but I do have another build I want to show you guys. But oh man, we're not allowed to show the menus in this client, which is really, really annoying. So yeah, how can we show that to you guys? 2,099 value on the Hellstorm rocket battery. Then we do also have the Knights of the Blazing Sun, who are good. Grenade launchers would probably cut in retrospect. You just need to clear the Graveguard out, and I think, yeah, okay, I remember the build now. So it was more Flagellant heavy. Essentially, it is cutting the initial state troopers, going Flagellants and Tattersouls, focusing down the Graveguard with the Pit of Shades and Volkmar, like really aggressively, and then you should be able to clear through the chaff. Then you need something to kill Blood Knights, so I would cut the Pistoliers and go triple wagons, and use those to pop the Blood Knights down, and use them more conservatively instead of pushing them in. There's a bunch of ways the Empire can play this. This did okay too. I mean, 2,100 value on that Hellstorm. I mean, that was not bad at all. We held the side point for a long time, but we just couldn't clear the stuff fast enough. I mean, look, we killed both Necromancers, we killed the Blood Knights, like, but they just keep coming, man. It's very, very tough. 1,500 on those Blood Knights, beautiful stuff. But yeah, anyways, as far as the matchups we found to be good against vampire counts, Slaanesh seems to have a pretty good matchup against them, and actually maybe even very favored, or maybe like 60-40. Also, Lizardmen played very well against vampire counts. Those are the two that I think if you guys are in a tournament setting, like once IE comes out, if you want to beat vampire counts consistently, I would practice Lizardmen, and I would practice the Slaanesh against them, and I think you'll be okay there. Empire's got some tools, though. I think they can win this matchup. I think it's going to take a lot of fine-tuning and a lot of like really, really good play, but I think it's possible. So, Sons of Sigmar, hold your head up high. Hey, we got some good work. We got the Hellstorm rocket battery and some other fun tools. Anyways, guys, take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time, and that is it for today. Well played to Anticity.